people, today I'm going to teach you an important skill that every plant parent should know, which is how to propagate your plants. Now it is true that the ideal propagation method depends on the plant. Specifically today I'm going to be showing you how to propagate a vining plant, so think pothos, monstera adansonii, philodendron, etc. in water. You might be wondering, why do I need to know how to propagate? Well, there's two main reasons. Number one, learning how to properly trim your vining plant is going to be the best way to stimulate new, fresh growth and to keep your plant nice and full like this one here. Secondly, knowing how to propagate is great because it's basically a cheat code to get unlimited free plants. You can make tons of babies and sell them, give them away, or keep them for yourself. To successfully propagate a vining plant, you only really need three things. Number one, of course, you need a plant. Number two, you need a sharp pair of pruners or scissors. Just make sure to sanitize them first. And number three, you just need some sort of clear container full of water. Let's get into it. So after grabbing your plant, the first step is going to be to identify where you want to make the cutting. It's simpler than it sounds. All you have to do is cut around the node, which is a growth point. If you've never heard of a node, you've probably seen them before. If you have a vine like this, the nodes are all of those bumps that we see. So like right here, for example. Now, when you're trying to identify which node you want to use, make sure that there's a couple leaves above it. That way the plant can continue to photosynthesize while it's rooting. Now, once you've identified the node, you want to make sure that you're making your cutting right below it. So that means you need to know which way your plant is growing. In this case, the plant is growing out this way. So for example, if I want to propagate and keep this leaf, I would look at the node below it, which is this one here. This here is the node I've identified to make my cutting. I'm going to grab my stem, open my pruners, and cut just below the node. Now you don't want there to be any leaves sticking out of the growth point because this is the part that's going to be submerged in water. And if you leave a leaf on there, it could fall off and rot. So what I'm going to do is take my pruners and cut the leaf off. I made a propagation from this plant recently, so I'm also going to cut off this excess stem up here. And then from there, it's really easy. Like I said before, you just need a clear container with water. I'm using this glass container. Make sure that the container is clean and that the water is fresh. If you want to add some sort of rooting hormone, I recommend it because it helps speed up the rooting process. I like to use prop drops. All the water cuttings I've ever done with these have been really healthy and happy. And you don't have to do this. It just means that the plant might take a little longer to form those roots. If you do use prop drops or some sort of rooting hormone, you don't need that much, just a couple drops. And then from there, the rest is easy. You just put the cutting right in water. And you do want to make sure that that node or growth point is fully submerged. Now that we have the cutting in water, we just have to play the waiting game. It can take a little while for roots to start growing, so be patient. As long as the leaf is still looking healthy and happy, your cutting is doing fine. In terms of maintaining your propagation, it's pretty simple. You want to make sure that it gets access to plenty of bright and direct light. You don't want it directly in the sun's rays because this can facilitate algae growth. I like to put all of my propagations under grow lights because I feel like that is the most consistent, stable lighting. But if you don't have grow lights, you can just put yours on a windowsill as long as there's no direct sun. You also want to occasionally freshen up the water. Now, I don't dump out all of the water when I do this because the plant is secreting a rooting hormone. So if I dump out all the water, the plant kind of has to start from scratch. So what I typically do is I dump out about half of the water, I fill it up with fresh water, and then if I'm using a rooting hormone like prop drops, I'll add a couple more in there to freshen it up. Now with pothos and a lot of plants, you can kind of leave them in water if you want. I do like to eventually transfer mine to soil. If you're gonna do that, you just wanna make sure that the roots are about 3 inches long before you transfer them. I can make a whole other video about that process if you'd like. Just leave a comment to let me know. So there you go. I hope this was helpful. Propagating plants is such a fun way to experiment with your plant and learn more about how it grows. So give this a try at home and let me know what you think. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a wonderful day.